Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. I'm a Monk, and today we are in Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlords. This video is all about the subject of movement speed, as in your party's movement speed on the map. Now, this is a subject I haven't really covered in too much detail on the channel so far, and I figured as this game has now been added onto Game Pass and we've got a few extra players, it might be a good subject to actually cover. And of course, if this is the kind of content that you want to see, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget we also have an active and growing Discord that you can jump in and ask as many questions as you want. The link for that, of course, is down in the description. Anyway, movement speed and your map's movement speed. Why is it so important? Well, it's important for a number of different reasons, but most notably because the faster you move on that map, the easier you're going to be able to hunt down parties, the easier you're going to be able to avoid those bandits and looters at the beginning of the game, or of course those, roaming 1,000-man strong armies that you're probably going to want to avoid if you don't have the kind of troops to beat them in battle. Now, movement speed is effective. Your party's movement speed is affected by a number of different things, and here on the screen right now, if I've hovered over the movement speed, is where you'll see a number of the different values and things that impact your movement speed. Now, it can range from your troops, perks that you've picked, the wind, even herd ability. Now, herd is talking about the amount of livestock or the amount of horses that you actually have compared to the troops that you control. Morale can also impact your movement speed. Game difficulty, something like Pathfinder, again, is a perk. And of course, Day Traveler is also a perk. The culture that you pick can also influence your movement speed and the terrain in which you're moving on, if you're moving in snow, in desert, in forest. So a lot of different things impact your movement speed. Now, there's two main things that you can do to, make sure you have the highest movement speed possible. Ideally, you want a movement speed around 5. Anything around 5, I would consider to be a good movement speed. You're going to be able to hunt down parties, escape from parties, and it gives you enough speed to be able to move around the map comfortably. Anything below 4 is, oh my god, you are in trouble. You need to fix that. And of course, you can actually get all the way up to 8 movement speed as well, which is unbelievably quick in this game. It means you're going to be able to hunt down anyone, escape anyone, and just move around the map bloody fast. Now, those two main things to keep in mind is going to be your weight, as in the amount of goods that you are currently carrying compared to your carry capacity. Being in the green here, so to speak, is not going to affect your party speed at all. Being in the red is going to drastically affect your party speed depending on how much you are over that number. Another thing to consider is the amount of troops you have, and especially the troop types that you currently have. Now, as you can see, I currently have 0 troops, although I'm able to have over 400 troops. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and recruit 100 mounted troops, and we're going to see just, how that affects our movement speed. Okay, so now we have our 100 troops, and you can see that the movement speed for us having cavalry units is pretty good. It gives us a bonus to our movement speed across the map because, of course, every single one of our troops is moving on horseback. Now, having a huge amount of troops is going to slow us down than if we was moving on our own. But again, moving with cavalry units means that we move rather fast on that map. Now, if we was to go into our garrison once again, and we add ourselves over 100 troops that are footmen that do not have a horse, we can see how that affects our movement speed as well. If we just maybe go over and visit our friends just over here, and we can see that it has affected our movement speed because we have troops now not on horseback. That's affected our movement speed. And so that's just one of the many things you're going to have to consider when it comes to the type of troops that you have in your army moving across the map. But you can actually help this as well. So if we return back to our city, pop back into our keep and our stash, and this time we're going to add ourselves some horses. Now there are two different types of horses. You have got pack horses, and then you have got horses that will increase your party movement speed. As you can see, this is the little icon that you're going to be wanting to look for to help your troops move a little bit faster. Now, having your footmen on horseback isn't going to be the same as having cavalry. However, it is going to help your troops move a little bit quicker. So making sure you have a speed horse for every footman that you actually have is going to make a massive impact in movement speed across the map and help out a considerable bit. That 0.5 that we've managed to gain here can be the difference between catching an army, running away from an army, and life and death in this game. Now, the other thing to think about when it comes to party speed is going to be a herd penalty. Now, a herd penalty is a debuff to you and to your party. And it occurs when you have either too many horses or too many livestock. So livestock is obviously going to be your sheep, your pigs, your cows. If you have too many and it outnumbers the amount of troops that you actually have, you're going to acquire a herd penalty. Now, when it comes to a herd penalty, to successfully avoid this, you can have one horse, one livestock for every single troop you have. I believe it's up to 1.5 without occurring this herd penalty. So if we go ahead and grab ourselves up a ton of horses, we can see that at around 1.5 times the amount of troops that we have, we're actually not really incurring any herd debuff whatsoever. So that's a good safe number to be operating on. And of course you're going to be wanting to know this because the more horses that you're able to carry around with you, the bigger carry capacity that you actually have. And of course, even the speed horses, the party speed horses, do actually give you a positive carry capacity. Even those horses can carry goods, just obviously not as much as, say, for instance, the mules. But now if we grossly overload ourselves with too many horses, we'll see that we will then incur that herd penalty. Now, herd penalties isn't going to devastate your game, but it is going to have an impact on how fast you're going to be moving across that map. And it's something to consider, especially early game as well. Like, for instance, if you use the hog money exploit where you buy up a load of hogs, you being a solo guy with 20 troops running around with 100 hogs, it's going to slow you down on that map, potentially costing your life. And the other thing to consider, of course, is your carry capacity. Now, I've mentioned this already in the video, but if you have too many goods for your carry capacity, that's going to negatively affect your movement speed on the map as well. Now, if we just grab up everything we've got, now, of course, I have enough horses to be able to carry all of this. So if we just get rid of some of these horses and put us into a negative, we can see that that too has a negative effect on our party speed, and of course is going to impact our game significantly. Like I said, operating at around 5 movement speed is going to be really, really good. 4.5 is absolutely fine, but if you start dropping down, that's going to have a huge impact in your game. So have a little think about that, especially as you can move as fast as 8, 9 across that map. Now, there are also perks to look out for. Early scouting perk is a nighttime runner and daytime runner. They will both have an impact on your game. Now, for all of the traders out there, riding at around 175 has riding horde. Now, this halves the party speed penalty for having a huge herd and could be really useful picking up if you are one of those traders and needs that extra carry capacity. And nice and early in riding skill tree, you have nomadic traditions, which increases your mounted infantry's party speed by 30%. So it makes it more effective for you to be putting them on horses. Even within scouting at around level 75, you have a desert bond, which increases by 5% your movement speed bonus on desert and dunes. And of course, right at the end of scouting, if you manage to max it out, you have Uncanny Insight, which will increase the base speed of your party by 0.1 for every point over 200. So there's definitely perks for you to be looking around that can increase your movement speed on the map. I haven't mentioned them all in this video, but there's definitely a few little things that you can do to increase your speed. One of my favorite things that I like to do is to pick up the culture of Botania, because there you move faster through forest, and there is just so much forest within this continent that I found it helps me out so often and regularly with consistency, meaning that I can avoid different party members or track down people that much faster. I find actually just taking that one thing, the culture, keeping an eye on the fact that I don't have too much goods in my backpack, those two things alone is enough to be able to give me the speed and edge on the world map. So there we have it, guys. That is party speed on the world map. Hopefully this video has helped you, or at least just opened your eyes to the fact that this is something that you need to be looking at, because having an eye on just how fast you're able to move, how fast the other troops around you are able to move, will give you a better idea of your standing on the map, if you're going to be able to outrun someone, if you're going to be able to chase them down. And it's just going to impact your play. Like, for instance, if you're a trader, moving across the world map from town to town is going to take up a hell of a lot of time. If you're able to move faster, it's going to save you some in-game time. But anyway, guys, I've been a monk, we've been Critically Clueless, and I will see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.